Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this week I am doing another installment of Transparent Christianity. Basically, I wanted to talk more in depth about the disappointments video and talk about like my kind of personal story of why this hits home so much. So, and also scriptures that helped me. If you haven't seen my other Transparent Christianity video, I believe I've only made one other one. It'll be in the card this way, that way, I forgot which way it is. But basically, yeah, this series is just where I can just sit down and talk about kind of like my walk with God, show you guys that, of course, I am not perfect. One of my biggest worries is school. I am like very academically driven. That's just who I am. And I think I've always had this overemphasis on school because when I was bullied when I was younger, I think that was the only thing I could control. Thing that I did a lot for many, many years. I've wanted to go to kind of more competitive schools ever since, you know, kind of like I was younger. It wasn't always like a set goal, and my parents were never the parents to be like, you have to go to an Ivy League or you have to go to a top school to make us happy or to make us proud. They were never ever like that. Like, the academic drive came from within. It was not my parents' fault. So junior year is known to be the hardest year, and it was hard. Like, I did not take as many hard classes, APs, as my friends did. I literally took two-thirds less than everyone else. Like, everyone else took 6, I took 2. Which is like 2 college classes on top of all your other classes. I count that as an accomplishment. But yeah, so basically all throughout the year, you know, this is the time you take the ACT and the SAT. And you know, my grades have been good all high school. But I'm an awful test taker. Like, standardized tests are just not my thing. I'm not good at taking them. Like, I took the test for the first time, you know, going into my junior year, and I was like, oh, it's just a taste test, you know, I'll just take it, see how it goes, whatever. And I didn't really get a high score, and all my other friends around me were getting really high scores their first time. They were getting, you know, like 28, 29s, you know, 30s, 31s, and they were done. And that was not my case at all. Like, I got pretty low scores considering like the classes I was in, and I was just really nervous. I still am. Like, don't think I'm talking about this like I'm completely over it. I'm definitely not. I'm really trying to be, but it's really hard. So like that kind of started happening towards the start of junior year because I started looking at colleges, and I was like, oh, my score sucks. Okay. So I just started like stressing a lot about taking the standardized test, and I was like, what if it doesn't go up? It was really nerve-wracking. So I kind of just shut out from God, and I would just kind of like lock myself in my room. I'd do all my homework and then say start at 9, start studying for the SAT or ACT until like 10 or 11, and just like do practice problems and everything. And I did everything. I changed tests. And my score got lower. But it was like super discouraging because I just remember I studied and I got 100 points lower than I was supposed to. And I just remember literally like crying out and being like, God, why have you forsaken me? Like, I was just like, I've been so good to you. I've, you know, like loved you. I've been good to you for the past 2 years, and this is how you repay me. You know what I mean? And then I kind of stopped. I mean, now that I say it, it's completely like hysterical. Then I stopped, and I just realized like this is my fault. Like, I wrote down, I think like it was like 19 things I did wrong, and I just realized like that's not how it was supposed to be. Like, that's not what God wanted. You know, I made it about me. I never prayed about it. I never prayed about my test score because I was so, you know, scared of like God saying no, basically, and that not being his will for me, that I didn't want to hear no. I would have rather grinded myself into the ground than hear a no, that I couldn't change. I thought like I could just push harder, work harder, put in more hours, buy more books. I thought that would fix it, and it didn't. You know, I had all these big dreams and aspirations, but then I had to realize, like, this is not my path. And I think the hardest thing is and was that, like, all my friends around me were doing well, and I was like, and honestly, if I'm being completely truthful, like, there were some days where I was like, oh, I just really, you know what I mean? Like, I know it's like they don't have God, but then I was like, but what kind of God would do this? You know what I mean? And like, I was just like, honestly, there were probably some days that I would trade God for a higher test score. Not even kidding. Because I was just so desperate. I guess like that I want to feel, I guess, like validated. That like I worked hard for 4 years and I got a good test score, and I got mad at everything, and I was just kind of like, you know, God, like, why'd you do this? Why is this like my burden? If I wasn't studying, then like I would have so much more free time to do other things, and I was like, I'd be so much more kingdom minded if I like didn't have to worry about where I'm gonna go. And I just basically was telling someone that like, it's like you just want to be done, but it's like every time you put the card down, you want to just pick it back up, because you're like, I don't know who's gonna pick it up. I don't know what God's gonna do with the card. You know what I mean? It's like you just don't want to mess it up, because you know, like, if it's in your hands, you know what happens to it. But when it's God's will, you don't know what happens to it. I just need to like let it go and just realize that, you know, God's will is the best will at the end of the day. And I said from the beginning, like, college is really about the place I'll grow the most spiritually and do the most for God. I didn't want to go somewhere just to go somewhere. I mean, I could go anywhere just to go somewhere. So I just really hope that, like, wherever I end up, big or small, that I'll be able to grow and to help in any way that I can. Like, that's basically all I want to do. But I think like my human nature has gotten into it and twisted, I guess, something so kind of beautiful and something so kingdom minded into a battle of names and a battle of prestige and a false sense of identity and where I can find myself in my identity. And academics isn't it. Like, I could literally get into a car accident tomorrow and be brain dead. Knowledge means nothing. And there's so many scriptures in the Bible that say that, like, knowledge means nothing. It means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things, because it's your heart that matters. It's not knowledge. Knowledge is so fallible. It's so fleeting, honestly, but it's just like so hard to let go of that control. I don't know if this helps you guys, just hearing me like talk in circles, and you can probably hear the internal battle of like, I know it's like I say what I know should be done, but it's just the execution is just so much harder. As for scriptures, here are some that I really like, and when I had come into my whole like literal emotional breakdown, I found 3 scriptures. I think these are the ones I read in the disappointment video, but I'll reread them for you guys in case you didn't watch it. If yeah, you should. Isaiah 55:8-9 reads, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts." Psalm 35b. "Weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning." And Philippians 4:6-7. "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition and thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your heart and your minds in Jesus Christ." So those are scriptures that gave me like the most comfort, kind of through like my disappointment and my worrying, and you know, just being able to like trust God's will 100%. Thank you guys for watching this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, do whatever you do, and I'll see you guys on Sunday. Bye.